Welcome to the Penga Folder podcast with your host, Nana and Emelie. They invest remotely in the UK and live in Sweden. In this podcast, they will be interviewing interesting guests that all invest in the UK property market.
Hi, and welcome. Today we have the delightful, nice guy looking Chris Henry.
Thank you, Nana. Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm good. Just on a run, and we're here recording today. I'm looking forward to this because I know you have a lot of knowledge, and people will love this episode because you're also an remote investor, as I am and Emelie.
Yeah.
So who is Chris?
Well, I'm Chris Henry. I'm 38 years old, born and bred in Birmingham, the UK. About 15 years ago, I was working at Jaguar Land Rover. While working at Jaguar Land Rover, I was going through the process of the fire service to become a firefighter. That was cut short. I got given a start date in the fire service, and then they called me back and said, you've got a review on your medical with regarding your hearing. So then 6 months later, they went back. I had to go to a specialist, and then the specialist said, health and safety, you can't now go in the fire service. So I was devastated from that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was cut short. And then 2 months later, after receiving that news, I got laid off from Jaguar Land Rover. Yeah.
Sorry for laughing.
No,
you were in a bad spot then.
Yeah, you couldn't. It just came all at once, all of a sudden, really. So then after that, I went traveling for 9 months around Southeast Asia. I came back from traveling and decided to study to be an electrician. So while studying to be first of all, while I was traveling, my mum bought another house, and the original house that we were living in, she rented out. So when I came back from traveling, she was living in a new house. So I then went on to study to be an electrician. And during the time I studied to be an electrician, she asked me if I wanted to buy her house that she'd rented out. So I agreed. I took the opportunity and agreed to purchase the house. While I was at the boxing gym training with a friend, I know he's into property. He was into property at the time, or at least he owned a shop. I was telling him about it, and then he told me, no, don't buy your mum's house. You'll buy that. You can buy that any time. And on this day we were having this conversation, he then said he's going to look at a property. So we went to look at this flat with the estate agent, and then he said he's an investor. At the time, I didn't know what an investor was. And now I know that he had first pickings from the estate agent for properties. He then said, don't think about it too long. It was like a week later, I came back to him and says, I take it. It was very scary because it was the first time I was going to depart with a lot of money. So then we purchased it. He introduced me to a broker, solicitor, and estate agent. So we renovated it with family and friends. Like my dad is a jack of all trades. I learned so much from him, like tiling and whatnot. So we did that to save costs. After that, we rented it out. So then I started realising, the cash flow coming in from just the one property. And at the same time now, I was an electrician. So I started up my own business as an electrician, and I was working as an electrician in my own business and building up my property portfolio at the same time. It got to a point where I was buying a house every couple of years because I was concentrating on my business, and property was my side hustle, as we call it, at the time. So then I got myself educated, came across some education, got myself educated, and that allowed me to grow a bit more. And I ended up buying my mum's house, funny enough, later on, a few years later. And then that allowed me to scale a bit more. But then I came across education, and then that allowed me to grow a bit further. And then now I decided to step away from my business, close my business, and move to Sweden with my now fiance.
Congrats.
Thank you very much. And that brings me here today with you.
Wow, what an intro, guys. So first of all, I want to know, you said that when you lost your job at the Jaguar and you couldn't get the job at the fire department.
Mm-hmm.
You went traveling 9 months. Was that for reflecting about life and what was your next step, or was it just a break that you wanted?
Yeah, it was a bit of both, to be honest. It was definitely a bit of both. So, like, fire service was all I wanted to be. I wanted to be a firefighter. That's all I wanted to be, and be given the opportunity and a start date.
Yeah,
and then for that to be taken away from you because I've got a loss of hearing in one ear.
Yeah,
I was devastated. So I did go away to reflect, and in that time I came back and I wanted to be an electrician. To be an electrician. So
because I was thinking, because sometimes, like with me and Emelie, when we started this property journey, it was the perfect because we were on a vacation. And then during the days, during the mornings, while she was sleeping, I was hiking in LA. And then I was thinking about what do I want to do with my life and etc. That's why I asked you if that was like a stepping stone for you, to just have the time to reflect and obviously enjoying life as well.
Yeah, some introspect.
Yeah. Okay. So you mentioned you got educated. Why did you get educated? I mean, you had this guy already.
Yeah, so I got reason why I got educated because I lost contact with this guy, and I didn't have anyone in my inner circle who was property educated or even had properties apart from their own, like aunties and uncles who had their own. But investing wise, I had no one around me in that circle. And then I came across an ad on Instagram, and so I went along, and everything that they said at the time was just, I just resonated with it, and it was calling me. And yeah, so I signed up, 25 grand. It's a lot of money, but I'm a person, if I'm going to pay 25 grand, I'm going to make it worth it.
Yeah.
I'm going to make sure it's worth it. I had like family and friends when I was telling them that I've signed up, they were like, no, it's a scam. But as cliche as it sounds, I wasn't looking at the price of a shovel while digging for gold. I could see the benefit paying that money and becoming educated and understanding that even if I was to buy a property and refurbish it and sell it, and with the profit from that, it would pay for the education.
Yeah.
It would pay for the education, and then the education then is free and the knowledge is free. The knowledge will stay with me forever.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I became educated.
Yeah.
And like also the fact I didn't know anything about refinancing, return on investments, having a good broker. I didn't understand all that terminology either. So by becoming educated, it gave me a greater understanding about it all.
Yeah. And I mean, you can just like the things that you have done since you got educated because of the returns that you've done, like going and traveling and etc. And it's the same for us as well. I remember when people were saying, oh, you're going to pay so much for this course and etc. Yeah. But now looking at it, I mean, we had a baptism for our youngest. We took the money from the property. We didn't take it from our own salary. So it paid. So, I mean, if you just think about the education that you got, how many open doors it does,
Yeah.
So I totally with you. I'm all for education as long as the right education.
Yeah.
So you mentioned you had your electrician company, and then now obviously working here. But as you're aware, majority of the listeners are remote investors, and either they're doing it or they're thinking about doing it. And you are a remote investor now. What question do you ask the project manager during the refurb?
Good question. First, from the very get-go, it's just having a clear idea of what you want to achieve with this property and relaying that to your project manager. So then your project manager or your sourcing agent, your builder is on the same page and has the same vision as you do going forwards. For example, like my last purchase, I turned up with the builder. I met the builder on site. We went from room to room to room. He wrote down everything that I was saying to him, and we went through room by room, detailing, even down to the spec of the kitchen and the tiles. I even went to like a Wix and B&Q, took pictures of the kitchen and tiles, sent them to him. So he then knew these are the tiles for the kitchen, these are the tiles. And yeah, just having that clear understanding and not changing your mind, and just clarity.
Yeah. So do you think you will need to do that every time, or then now you've done it once and he knows your standard?
Oh, yes. But even when I've worked with sourcing agents, I've asked the sourcing agent to just send me two pictures of flooring, two pictures of tiles, two pictures of the kitchen, and I'll just choose one or the other. So just again, relaying that to the sourcing agent upon purchasing, knowing that they're going to project manage that property, because now I'm here in Sweden, and I would just say to them, just send me two pictures. Sometimes I may Google pictures of like a style of tiling. Like on my last HMO in the kitchen, we went for a different style of tiling instead of the standard formation tiling. And yeah, just sent that to her previously to them tiling the kitchen. So then they all had an understanding of, okay, this is the style of tiling and this is the type of tiles he wants to use in the kitchen.
Okay, a good answer. So as you're aware of, you have a term in the UK called having a drink, you know? So it's mostly in the construction industry. So could you like explain what it is first and what's your thoughts about it?
I won't say it's just the construction trade. Here's a quick example. It's like I'm an electrician and your friend wants some electrical work and he wants loads of electrical work. So then you'll go, Chris, my friend wants some electrical work. Could you go and quote him? He's going to give you the job. Could you put a drink on for me? With that drink, it's like a referral fee. So it's when you say putting a drink on, it's kind of like a referral fee for that tradesperson to pay you, whether it comes out of their profit or they cost it into their quote. That's the referral fee that you get back, really. When it comes to builders will put a drink on, but you got to look at it as like the builder is the one who's bringing in the electrician, bringing in the plumber, the plasterer. He's going to bring in everyone who he likes and trusts. So yes, he will get quotes off all of them, but yes, he's also going to project manage them as well. So you can't look at it as, he's putting his own referral fee of bringing. That's what you get from using his team, should we say?
Okay, but shouldn't that be a quoted? Now I'm the devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Shouldn't that be quoted in the project management fee? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yes. Yes, it can be. It can be. But in this terminology where I'm using the builder as the project manager, yes, he has put in his drink on all the trades, but he's also putting in his project managing fee as well. So he's actually project managing the whole job. But like us going back to what I said, he's bringing in people who he likes and trusts, and he knows who can do a great job and a good job. So if you try and scrimp and scrape on that little drink, whatever and you're not gonna put a drink on a change of a socket. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. You're gonna put a drink on a larger project where it comes in, it's a referral fee.
So how can you mitigate that? And what is a reasonable drink?
What's a reasonable drink? Well, first of all, to mitigate, I wouldn't say you can mitigate it, because like I said, it will either come out the tradesperson's profit or they would cost it into the job itself. Yeah. What I'd say is getting more than one quote, getting at least 3 quotes. Even with my builder I use on a regular basis. Yeah. I always get another quote just to make sure he's looking after me, you know.
You hear that? No.
Yeah, so like, even though, I like and trust him, I'd also get a second quote to make sure, it is a reasonable price he's giving me. Yeah. So getting 3 quotes.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's like a bit like me and Emelie, we always ask you, because you've done it a lot, and you've been in the industry with electrician, etc. And I remember this thing. They quoted us on a boiler,
Mm-hmm.
and then I just went on the LMPG.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we can get for this.
Yeah.
Funny enough, the builder came back and said, okay, I can move down. So maybe he took a drink, or who knows? But I mean, it saved us like, I think like £400 or £500.
Yeah, that's quite a lot. That's a good saving. But sometimes I would look at it as you're paying for quality, you're paying for good service. Because if you start then taking the drink away as such, or trying to get it cheaper, you won't get as good of a job.
Mm.
You know, and I've known other investors to go to each and every trade that the builder himself has brought in and ask, how much are you paying? How much are you paying? How much are you quoting? And they're trying, and then they realize that the builders put maybe even if it was X amount on top, and that was just to bring in these trades. Then now it's called
bad
vibes within his workforce.
Yeah.
And then all the workforce, when the builder found out, all the workforce left, and then that investor was left stranded, half a job done, because he was trying to take the money out. You should look at it. Everyone has to eat. Everyone should eat.
Yeah. I understand. I totally agree with you. Everyone has to eat. So you mentioned you're still an electrician. What skills has transferred that into your property investment?
That's a good question. I would say a lot of skills have been transferable, but it's not just down to the electrical side. It's working within the construction industry. So working alongside plumbers, plasterers, and all other trades, having a good understanding of the fabrication of the building, having a good use of space, and seeing a property and seeing how you can reconfigure it and what you can actually do to a property, or the defects, notifying defects within the property, such as damp, rising damp, a leaking roof, subsidence. You know, because you've worked in, I personally have worked in like domestic and the commercial sector, so seeing various different like structures, have a great, I would say a good understanding of working with all types of properties.
Yeah. So do you prefer being passive now or more hands-on that you were before?
I like a bit of both, to be honest. Like referring back to your last question, like we purchased a property and I got the floor plan. I designed the floor plan myself. I gave it to the builder, and the builder says, "Yep, that works." The floor plan for the HMO, it all works with all the en suites. Everything works, and he cracked on with it. I do like to buy my own properties. Again, working with other project managers or sourcing agents. So it's a mixture of both.
Okay, that's interesting, because I'm like, I hate it, but Emelie likes it, so it's
it swings and roundabouts. It swings and roundabouts.
So, how did it feel when you became financial free?
It felt like any other day, really. I called my accountant, told her I've hit my financial freedom figure. She just said, "Well done. Go and find some more properties to purchase." But I am grateful though, from actually, the last year I've been able to learn Swedish. So jag kan prata lite svenska nu.
Yeah.
So it's given me that time to learn Swedish. It's given me time, like I was in the UK. We had some tragic news of my brother's death, and I was with my mum at the time. Called my girlfriend and said, "Babe, I've got to stay here." And I stayed with my mum, cooked for my mum, took her everywhere she needed to go. Any mum losing a son, it's going to be hard for her. So I took it upon myself to stay with her. And from property, I wouldn't have had that, and just spending that crucial time with my mum. And 2 months later, she passed away, heartbroken. So, and I'm really grateful that I had property that was supporting my financial freedom. It allowed me to stay with my mum for that time. And yes, it was cut short, but I'm forever grateful for spending that time with her.
Yeah, my condolences. That's something that I think it's very important message that you said, because that just sets like you were in control of your own time,
Mhm.
and people forget about that.
Yeah.
You can have a nice job and etc. But if you're not control of your time, I mean, if something like that happened, I remember when it happened with me,
Mhm.
I had to go back after 3 days to work,
Yeah.
and then obviously for me, I think maybe it was good for me to think about something else.
Yeah.
But let's say if I could choose, I think maybe I would have chosen to be with my brothers and
With family.
and with family and
Yeah.
and grief. So that's just powerful.
Yeah,
What it
100%.
does.
100%. And then now reflecting on that, when the time I have come to have children,
Mm,
I will now have the time to put aside for them.
yes.
So now I have all the time so I can see their first walk, talks,
Yes.
all of this, which many people won't, and because they have to go to work.
Yeah. And I mean, literally, that's what life's about, to be honest. But yeah, now you're working here in Sweden, but you decide when you want to work.
Yeah. It's practice.
So how is the transition from being hands-on to hands-off? Is it difficult for you?
Yeah, well, when I first moved to Sweden, the idea was to fly back to the UK, purchase properties or find properties to purchase and fly back, set everybody up, fly back, and then once a month to just fly back and forth to the UK. Obviously, COVID was around, so my plans changed very, very quickly. So then I interviewed 18 sourcing agents, and by interviewing the 18 sourcing agents, I wanted to find someone like me. So
good luck.
yeah. I had to make sure that they were educated. They had a power team. I had to see previous jobs they've done, see their numbers. So then now this gives me the time now for me to work with a selected amount out of the 18 sourcing agents. And now they can send me deals. I can analyze them now and then purchase those deals quickly.
Yeah. And you've done 2 deals since that.
Yeah.
And they're going fairly well.
They have. One, I haven't even stepped into the property.
Yeah. How did that feel? Was that scary?
That was because again, I'm pulling the strings from a distance, but they're the ones who are at the forefront of it, and it was scary.
But it was nice when it hit your account, right?
yeah. It was, and it paid off. Really, it paid off. And now again, that time I've saved because my time's now more valuable. Looking at deals, assessing deals, and you can't buy that again.
No.
Yeah.
I like that way instead, because some people always say, how can you even do it from abroad? Not even, how many properties have you seen? And I was like, one.
Yeah, but if you work with the right people, you can definitely get it.
So you hear that, listeners? Chris is living by example. So what is the obstacles coming with it?
I like to be in control. So sometimes the obstacles are more frustration of not getting in contact, or I understand everyone has a busy life, and that's for me is just like if I send somebody a message just to give me an update and I receive it like a day later, that's for me that's very like frustrating, even though for some it shouldn't be, but it's because I like to be in control.
I totally understand you. I have the same frustration, but then at the same time, I'm like, okay, why am I whining? I mean, I'm here with my daughters and my fiance chilling, and I'm just sending a WhatsApp message and asking what's up, but that's life, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but it does also help that sometimes like when you do ask the builder, oh, can you send me, he's told you the kitchen has been installed, and he sends you confirmation, says, the kitchen's been installed. He then sends you a picture, and then when you're looking closely, it's not fully complete. Then he has something to answer to,
Yeah, I know that feeling. So do you have any tips for us remote investors about what we should think of when doing this?
Yeah, good question. Yes, just have a clear vision of what is it you want to do, doing the basics well, get yourself educated or work with a mentor or a coach. and network with people who are doing what you want to do.
Okay, that's good. Good answer. So, if anyone wants to do what you do, what tips would you give them?
Oh,
You're different, you know.
Work hard. That's what I'm going to say. Just work hard. It's not going to come easy. Work hard. Be consistent, and just it will pay off with you. And run your own race. Run your own race, because there's a lot of people out there who are posting stuff and they're not even doing what they're posting.
Preach.
Yeah, exactly. And just run your own race and be consistent in what you're doing and what you want.
Yeah, good answer. Rather, like you say, we're all in our own race.
Mm-hmm.
So before we go into the 4 question I usually ask my guests.
Okay.
What's next for Chris Henry? I know you get a wedding soon.
Yeah, I've got a wedding to plan and pay for. No, but seriously, like the last year since the death of my brother and my mum, I pretty much took a year out from everything, life, investing and everything else. So now I've come back into the arena now with a new mindset, working closely with a coach and a mentor, and I just want to take that next step into the commercial sector and start buying commercial as well as scaling my portfolio.
Wow. So you're hearing here, this is the new Grant Cardone here. 10x, baby.
You gotta give it all. You gotta give it all.
That's true. I always love the vibe with you. You know that. So let's hit the questions that I always do.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have unlimited funds, who would you have as a mentor?
I love this question. Dead or alive? Can I use dead or alive mentors? Okay. So there would be in Grant Cardone, who you've just mentioned as well. Yeah, I love him. I'd have more. Definitely have more than one mentor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for life coach, financial, business. You know, all aspects of my life. So I feel like you'll learn from more than one person.
Yeah, that's true.
And grow in more ways than one.
Yeah.
So Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
Jim Rohn.
Oh yeah.
I know he's not around, but yeah, I would definitely have him. And another one, maybe Warren Buffett.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
Buffett.
3 good picks, actually. Okay, so one book to recommend to your future children, because you're having 2, right?
I have more than 2. I hope you agree, so first. No, so what book? I don't think there would be books. I think it would be more life skills, you know, because there's a lot of stuff we learn at school that we don't use to even today's market. So just teaching my children about, you know, stuff we don't like, taxes, money, you know, investing, just life skills that they will go on to use. I'm not saying school is bad, but there's a lot of stuff that we do learn in school that we don't use after a certain time.
Yeah. So one book for every investor, and it doesn't need to be property.
Every investor, a book for every investor. The Compound Effect.
Good book.
Yeah, The Compound Effect is a really good book about doing small steps, which will create a bigger effect for whatever it is you may want to achieve.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
Yeah. And property book.
Property book. The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah, I know that's not a property book.
Yeah, it's not a property book, but it does teach you about the fundamentals of investing, angel investing, taking advice from the right people. So there's elements of it.
Yeah.
It is about investing. Maybe not property, but it's about investing.
Yeah. A bit like Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's not so much about...
No, it's a great book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. I love that book too. But if I could choose the one out of the 2, I'd definitely recommend The Richest Man in Babylon.
Yeah. Okay. So you heard it, people. That's his choices. If you haven't read them, the books that he mentioned, they're really good books. I suggest you read them. Yeah. So thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
Because we're doing this at home. That's why this is not a video edition. We're doing it at home. And I mean, if people would like to reach out to you, follow your journey, and contact you, how can they reach out?
Yeah, people can follow my journey on Instagram. My Instagram name is AfroChris21. So that's like Afro, like the hairstyle Afro. Yeah, I used to have an Afro.
Yeah. I was supposed to ask you this afterwards. Like, did you have an Afro?
Yes. Plus, I'm Afro-Caribbean as well. So, yeah, it's the two combined with my name. So, AfroChris21 on Instagram. Make sure you follow me and see what I'm up to.
Yep. Something else you want to leave for the listeners before we end it?
Keep it consistent, guys. Keep it consistent. Work hard, and it will pay off for you.
Yeah, it does. I really agree with you. And I've seen Chris' journey since we met him at 2019.
Yeah,
Birmingham.
We met on a property course, right?
Exactly. And he's the real deal, guys. Follow him and even text him. Beside that, don't be stressed. Invest, people.